Hey there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King, and I'm back with another Dollar Bin Trading Challenge update. Yes, last time there was several months in between updates. It just took a long time. This time, however, a bunch of really big trades came together really fast, so I have some really big books to show you because the trading challenge leveled up significantly from last time. Before we get into that, I just want to, for those who haven't maybe seen the previous videos or know what the Dollar Bin Trading Challenge is, last year I started on this crazy quest where I'm going to try to take books out of dollar bins and I'm going to trade them trade only all the way up to get an All-Star Comics #8, the first appearance of Wonder Woman. Sounds crazy, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. Started with a pool of $20 bin books, and the way it works is if at any time I drop below 20 books in my trading pool, I can then add in books to bring it back up to 20, but only books that I find in the dollar bins. So this combines two of my favorite things: is trading with other people and also dollar bin diving. So I really enjoy going through those dollar bins and finding these books and then trading them out to you guys. I mean, one of the big points of this is to get everyone the books that they want. I'm looking for people's books from their checklists to finish their collections, and then I trade you the stuff that you really want. You trade me stuff that you don't care about, and then I find a new home for it. So everyone wins. And then hopefully at the end of this, we will have gotten all the way up to that All-Star #8. I'm not keeping anything until I get there. So no matter how cool these books are, and as you're about to see, some of them are really cool, I'm not keeping any of them. So last time around, we had a cool list of books. Let me put the starting list up on the board right here. You know what? Let me switch sides here. Let's put it up over here because it's just a blank wall behind there. So last time we had a total value of $1,610. Now, if you look at the last video, I did the math wrong. It says $1,710. That was wrong. It was $1,610. Had some really great books in the last round, going in starting round 5, including a couple of pre-code horror classics. And this time around, I've actually traded almost everything off the list. Now, previous rounds, we've traded 6, 8, 10 books. I think that's as far as we got, was 9 or 10 one round. This time we actually traded 14 of the books off of this list. So let's show you the list now with the stuff gone. Boom. And as you can see, almost everything at the top end of the list is gone. There's only one book, the Marvel Premiere 28, that's left from the whole top part of this list. The books that I'm having a little trouble trading away are actually some of the cheaper books, but that's fine because we got so many gone. We had a bunch of huge trades here, really big ones that left me with a bunch of empty slots. So we're going to see a ton of turnover with a bunch of new things. We also consolidated upwards on all of the trades, so there's a bunch of really big books, and we've had some major adjustments in values of the ones that were left. So there's a lot to go over this time. But let's start off with the trades. So this time around, I did 5 different trades with 5 different trading partners. All of them big. I'm getting a bunch of really cool stuff here. But let's start with the biggest trade. And this was a trade with Antoine. And Antoine I ended up trading him 5 big books from the list. So Young Romance 172. The Giant Size Chiller #1, with the first appearance of Lilith, the daughter of Dracula. Showcase 73, which had the first appearance of the Creeper. And then both of the big pre-code horror books also went to Antoine. That was Tales of Terror #1 and Fantastic Fears #7, aka #1. All 5 of those going north of the border. Thanks so much for the trade, Antoine. I really appreciate it. I got back from Antoine 4 books, and we're going to show you those now. And here's the big one. This was sort of the linchpin of the trade, and it is Strange Tales #169, the first appearance of Brother Voodoo. Now, this is a book that's super hot right now. It's going up a lot in value. It's been hot for a couple years, 3 or 4 years at least, but it's really going up recently. And this is copies in about a 4, I would say. Conservatively say it's a 4, but nicely enough, it's one of these things where a lot of the big issues are on the back cover, so it does look a lot nicer than a 4. It does have a long color breaking crease here, but the color break is very faint, so you can really mostly see it here and through here, through the darker colors, but it's pretty faint. Back cover has a piece that's kind of place where it got kind of dinged, including a very deep scratch that's close to being a tear. It's really borderline, but it's very short as well. Because of those technical details, even though it looks great, I'm calling it a 4. One thing that I'm doing this round, just to now that we're getting up here in the price range, I'm going to have a link down below where you can go to Imager or Imgur, I don't know how it's pronounced, to see scans and photos of the books. So I wanted to have that available so that if you want to make a trade for these and you want to have more information about what you're trading for, I would never want someone to get a book where, you know, they get it and they're surprised by what they're getting. So I'm going to have pictures of everything available so you can see not just me holding it up to the camera, but you can see scans and close-up photos of this stuff. But this is a great book. I have a copy in my own personal collection. I've actually owned 2 different copies myself before. This is a theme we'll see for a lot of these books that I just got in. There's things that I've had in my collection before. But this is really exciting to get this copy in. So this was kind of the big ticket item for the trade with Antoine. But there's 3 other books from Antoine, and these are all very exciting for me as well, for a reason that you'll see right now. Here's another bigger book, and it is a CGC 9.4 copy of Power Man and Iron Fist number 66. Now, one thing that's exciting for me with these 3 books that I'm showing you here is that they're all CGC'd. I talked about this some in the previous video. It's been tricky trying to trade into CGC books. So a lot of people that I've tried to make trades with, even if the value is equal, they only want to trade CGC for CGC. They won't take a raw book for a CGC graded book. Again, even if they have equal value or even if they're coming out ahead value-wise, not everyone's like that, but some people are. And so moving from the raw books into the graded books has been a little bit tricky. But Antoine traded me several graded books, so now I do have some CGC books to offer to people that only want CGC books. This is a second appearance of Sabretooth in a CGC 9.4. I know there's a lot of big Sabretooth X-Men fans out there, so I'm hoping someone will pick that up. Speaking of X-Men, here is a CGC 7.5 copy of X-Men 136. Classic Pieta cover with Dark Phoenix, getting right to the end of the Dark Phoenix saga. So another classic CGC 7.5. And the last book that I got from Antoine, Silver Age. It is Flash 152. It's just CGC 7.0. Cover where Trickster is riding a tricycle. And Flash can't seem to catch up with him. But he's carrying a bag of thumbtacks. It's Silver Age silliness. It's what the Flash is all about. Again, a CGC 7.0. So thanks again, Antoine. I really appreciate it. That was the trade with Antoine. I got those 4 books in exchange for the 5 that I sent him. So really happy with that trade, and I hope you guys are excited to trade for some of these books. The second trade that I did was on Reddit, and the Redditor name is The Newest Rant, and he actually has a blog that he does about pop culture, including comics, called The Newest Rant. I'm going to have the link down below if you want to check out his stuff. He did talk about the trade in his blog, and the books that I sent to him was the Hulk #1, 2008, with the first appearance of Red Hulk, and I also sent him the Black Panther #1, 1998, with the first appearance of Okoye. And so we got 2 modern keys, and in exchange he sent me this. It's a really, really nice high-grade copy of Avengers Annual 10, the first appearance of Rogue. Really nice copy. I'm having it 9.2, maybe a 9.0. It has a non-color breaking bends, a couple of them on the back cover. It has got a non-color breaking indentation somewhere on the front cover. I forget exactly where. And there's just a slight amount of like discoloration on the back cover where the white is becoming just a little bit yellowed. But I think the other defects can be pressed out. It's not something that I do, but it's really beautiful. Again, at least a 9.0, maybe a 9.2, depending. I hate to grade anything above that anyway. but comfortable with that. It's just a great copy. First appearance of Rogue. So again, X-Men fans, I'm sure, will be excited for that. Yes, everyone hates the cover. I kind of like the cover, but most people hate the cover. But the art inside is amazing, by Michael Golden. So, and it's a must-have for Avengers fans, for X-Men fans, Rogue fans, Captain Marvel fans have to have this one as well. Carol Danvers. So it's got something for everybody. So again, thanks very much to the newest rant for that trade. I really appreciate it. Next trade I want to show you is with MRP. Now, MRP, someone that I've known for a long time online in various comic communities, know him right now from the Classic Comics Forum. We've traded before. He's been part of the Great Trading Challenge before. We've gotten some great books from him and sent him some great books. And this time around, I've traded him the Usagi Yojimbo Summer Special #1 from this list, but also I wanted to mention, so last time we were going into round 5, there was also a round 6 that happened. So this roundup is covering both rounds 5 and 6. And some of the books from round 6 that I ended up trading to MRP was the books of Zomzathzia, which I had showed in my, books that may end up in there in the future. This is one he'd been searching for a long time, so I was really happy to get that to him. And there was a couple late issues of Ghost Rider that he was looking for, and a couple other things. But the big one, again, is that Usagi Yojimbo Summer Special #1. And what I ended up getting back from him for that group of books is this here. It's Amethyst #1 and Amethyst #2, but you'll note what's special about these is that they're the very rare 35-cent variants. Now, these are really hard to price and value because they come up very infrequently, and they're also have a very niche sort of collecting audience that goes for them. I'm not sure how this is going to go trying to trade these, but we'll talk about that more because I've got another variant that I'm adding in to the pool from one of the empty slots as well. So I'm not quite sure how that'll go in terms of trying to trade things, but they're super cool. And I'm really excited to have these. I've never had these before. Amethyst is a character that I have thought for a long time has a lot of potential. It just seems like a character that they should be able to do something really cool with. If they do, this is going to be the big one. It's not her first appearance. It's her second appearance, but it's her first issue, and it's a super rare variant. I think this will be the one everyone's going for. And then issue 2 also has the price variant. So I want to thank MRP. Thanks very much again for this trade. Really exciting to get these. The #2 is in better shape than #1, but the #1 is sort of, I would say, it's probably a 7, maybe a 7.5, but I think a 7. It's like a really solid. Both of them are really nice books. So again, thanks MRP for those. Very exciting to get those in. Okay, the next trade is one that I did on Instagram. It was traded with Hotkey Comics. Thank you very much for the trade, Hotkey Comics. I really appreciate it. And 2 books went out to Hotkey Comics. It was the Blip #1 with the first comic appearance of Mario, which I just added to the trading pool last time, but also the What If #10, which has the first Jane Foster as Thor. I traded the pair of those for this great key book, which I absolutely love. It's Doctor Strange #169, the first solo issue of Doctor Strange with this great cover. This is one of my favorites. I think of all the books I've gotten into the pool, this is my favorite. Now, I already have a copy, of course, from my collection that is in almost the exact same condition, because this does have specific condition issues, which mine does too for some reason, and that is it has creasing that runs the whole length of the book parallel with the spine like this. So when the kid bought it, they rolled the cover over right here. It also has a little bit of an overlap. Like the cover was cut a little too tall for the book inside. So it's got that, which is very common on a lot of these books. The rest of it is absolutely gorgeous. Like, it's great. Back cover as well. So, and it's got tremendous color, great gloss. This is one of my favorites It seems like the color strike on this issue of Doctor Strange must have been really excellent. This must have been like the first book in the line or something, because consistently I see copies of this that have great color and great gloss. So I think technically, because of the creasing, this is probably a 4.5. I really want to call it a 5, though. Regardless of what the grade is, it looks amazing. So this is a book that I love, and it would be the #1 book at the top of my list, except for the last trade that I did, and the last trade I did was with Silver Knight Kyle. Thank you very much, Kyle, for another trade. Kyle has been part of most of the rounds of the trading challenge. This time around, I traded him a bunch of stuff. The Action Comics 226, the lot of X-Men that included 221, the Sunfire and the Big Hero 6 lot. And then there were also some other books in that round 6 that I mentioned. Some other books also went off to him. And in exchange, all of those books went for one book. And it's this here. It's a really nice copy of Marvel Spotlight 32, the first appearance of Spider-Woman. Again, I'll have pictures if you want to look at it to see exactly what it looks like. Real nice. I think I would have this at probably a 9, about a 9, maybe a 9.2. Beautiful copy, and I'm being very strict with my grading because I want to make sure everyone's happy. I'd rather undergrade something than overgrade it, particularly at this price point. So again, first appearance of Spider-Woman. So as you can see, we're getting some really big books in here now. There's multiple books that are at or close to $300. After all those trades, we only ended up with only 15 books in this kitty, which leaves 5 empty slots for new books. Now, most of these you've seen because I did do that video a while ago where I showed you my dollar box. But actually, after I recorded that, I went through my regular collection, and there was a few books from dollar bins that I put in my personal collection that I decided, you know what? I don't necessarily need these for one reason or another. Let's put those in the dollar bin trading challenge. So some of these are going to be a bit of a surprise because they were not books that I had teased as being added to the pool. But let's jump right into it. Let me show you the ones that you've already seen from that previous video. And we're going to start off with this. I had mentioned this, or alluded to this. It's Superman number 77, Funeral for a Friend. However, this is second printing. I'm going to do this as a lot with Action Comics 685, third printing. I'm also adding in this. It's Richard Dragon, Kung Fu Fighter number 5, the first appearance of Lady Shiva. This is an interesting series in that it's really bad, but also the main character is one of the least important characters in the series because there have been other characters that were supporting characters who have gone on to become much more important in the DC universe, and one of them is Lady Shiva. Next up, it's Shauna the She-Devil number 1. Now, this is a book that's been going crazy in value. This is a book that I actually pulled out of my collection and decided that I'm not going to hold on to it. So this was not featured in my previous videos. I've been working on putting the run together, but honestly, I don't care that much about Shauna. I really was only doing it because I was trying to put together a set of all of the Marvel's brief female creator line from 72, and there's still a couple issues I'm missing, and I just don't want to pay for them. This book has really gone crazy. This is a low-grade copy, so it's got a few issues that I want to be clear about. It's got a big ding here in the center of the cover. Top staple is detached, and also someone drew in pencil all over the face of this guy in the back. Side note, this guy looks exactly like Tom Hiddleston, even though this was 50 years ago. I don't know, it just was creeping me out. But even with all those issues, I'm still going to be asking $40 in trade for this. There are actually, it's hard to believe, but there are lower grade, much worse looking copies than this that have sold for more. Up to $55, $60 for copies that are much worse. This does have a really cool cover on it. I think it's a Steranko cover, although I'm not seeing his signature, so maybe I'm wrong. I know he did at least one cover. Oh yeah, there it is, Steranko. Okay, I found it. So it's got a cool Steranko cover. First appearance of Shauna the She-Devil. Nice copies of this are going for $200 now. If you want a cool one that looks good in Mylar, you don't have to look at Tom Hiddleston's face. You can just look at the front. And $40, I think, is a very, very reasonable trade ask for that. I showed this last time in my books that could make it into it. It's Miracle Man #1. This is a book that is super hot right now. First Miracle Man, Alan Moore. Technically, this is the first American printing of this. The character had appeared in Warrior #1, and this is, but whatever. Blah, 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 blah. First issue of Miracle Man. Going crazy right now. So I thought some of you might like this. Finally, I had teased a couple of Dave Stevens covers, and I had second thoughts, particularly about the Alien Worlds #4, because for me, that might be his best cover. Not his most valuable, but I like that actually more than stuff like Planet Comics #1. As I was looking through my stuff, though, I found one in my personal collection that I've decided to put in the trading pool that was not shown in my previous videos of what might go in there. And this is a classic Dave Stevens cover. It's Airboy #5. It's a really nice copy. It does have a bend right here with a color breaking crease there, and it's a bend that starts here and goes up like this. Obviously, the bend could be pressed out. The color breaking crease, not so much. It's got some color rub, like on the back cover, like here. But obviously, an all-time classic Dave Stevens cover, maybe his most classic, despite the value, the value of Planet #1. I'm asking for 40 in trade on this as well. So those are the new books, but I also I'm going to be adding this as well. So we talked about the Amethyst 1 and 2. Again, books that I think have a lot of, they're obviously valuable and cool because of the price variance, but they're books that have a lot of speculation value because I think everybody kind of assumes that at some point they're going to do something cool with Amethyst. So I'm going to throw this into the lot as well. So this is the first appearance of Amethyst. I just got this in a dollar bin a couple weeks ago. It's the only copy I've ever had. It's a nice copy. It's actually quite nice for bouncing around a dollar bin. It's got like one or two color breaking ticks on the spine, but it's very nice. This is going to go in the lot with the 2 Amethyst books. Okay, so I did it prematurely earlier, but let's put the whole list up on the board. I'm going to go through all of the books that are now up for trade in round 7. Okay, I'm back with an update here. Had all sorts of problems posting this video, so it was recorded a while ago, and as a result, a bunch of the valuations are off, but I've also traded a bunch of stuff away. So, I just want to give you the straight scoop here. I only have about 8 or 9 of the books actually left, and the valuations on some of them are all off, so let me just go through what I actually have left if you're interested in trading with me, so not to confuse anything, and I'm looking to trade all of these. So, Miracle Man #1. Now, this is an interesting copy. It has a non-color breaking ding on the front, can be pressed out. The back cover has this spot about here of sort of intense wrinkling. And after looking at it really closely for a while, I'm convinced that it's actually a production defect. They get the printer's creases on it. I think it's like the worst printer's crease I've ever seen because it has a regular printer's crease that sort of leads in and then it gets sort of crumpled up. I think it's all printing, but it's still a problem. So for me, as it sits, I'm grading this about a 5.5. Now, high-grade copies of this have been selling for 80 plus, over $100 raw. A press might be able to fix this. I don't really know. I haven't really pressed anything. I don't do that. But it's possible. Again, I'm pretty sure it's like a crazy printer's crease. I'm only asking 30 as a result of that. The rest of the book is really, really nice. But I have to grade it only about a 5 or a 5.5 at best because of this ridiculous printer's crease. Normally I wouldn't downgrade a book for a production defect like that, but I don't know. Airboy number 5 with a classic Dave Stevens cover. This has a small bend right here, and it is color breaking right there. So I have this about a 7 or 7.5 maybe. Presents beautifully. And of course, it's an all-time classic, one of the most famous of the Dave Stevens covers. So I am asking for $40 in trade on this. Richard Dragon Kung Fu Fighter number 5. And number 18. Now, originally I was just putting in number 5, but I just recently did a video where I showed all of these Richard Dragon Kung Fu Fighter issues, and I had a whole bunch of people comment that they were trying to put together their runs and they were missing both of these because they're the expensive ones. So since I figured I might as well put them both together into one lot. They're both mid-grade, 4.5, 5 range. I think the 18 is a little bit nicer than the 5. First Lady Shiva, first Bronze Tiger, although of course the character who becomes Bronze Tiger has been in the series since issue 1. But first Bronze Tiger. Anyway, I'm asking for $45 in trade for the pair of those. We got the Death of Superman, Funeral for a Friend, late print. So here's a Superman 77 second print. It's pretty nice. I would say it's probably a 7. It's got maybe, it's hard to say with these moderns. 7 I think is fair. It has a little color breaking crease down here, and it's got a couple spine ticks that really show up in the black. I also have a slightly lower grade Action Comics 685 third print, which I would have at about a 6. Again, some color breaking spine ticks. I'm adding into that a lower grade Superman 73 second printing. This is only about a 4.5 or so. It has some issues on the back cover. And it's just got some wrinkling. Maybe it's only a 4. So it's a lower grade one. Now, valuation on these, I'm actually going pretty cheap on these. It's such a niche that I think I'm going to have a little bit of trouble trading them, even though they do have value. I personally just sold a higher grade copy of this for $40 on eBay. It was more like an 8.5. It just had like one spine tick. Higher grade copies of this are selling for around 20 on eBay. And likewise, this sold for about 20 on eBay for a higher grade copy. I'm only asking 40 in trade for all 3 of them, which I think is low. I think 50 to 60 for the set of 3 is actually what I could probably get for them if I sold them on eBay. But again, I know it's a very niche audience, so I think I'm going to have a little trouble trading it. So I'm aiming low to see if I can move them along. But not the easiest things to find. These late print runs. There's a lot of different printings in a lot of these books, but some of them are very easy to find, and some of them are less easy to find. And this in particular falls on the less easy to find scale. So $40 for the set of those 3. We're also still asking $40 for the cool set of Golden Age Red Rider books. It's 65 and 85. Some tremendous Golden Age art. I know I have some people on here that collect Westerns. So far, nobody's been giving me any offers on these, but if you're interested in Westerns and you like the Golden Age stuff, drop me a line. I'm sure we can come up with a deal for these. Still have the Micronauts number 1, which I have at about, it was traded to me as an 8. I think it's closer to an 8.5, but it's a Whitman variant, which makes it a little bit more rare than the regular edition. Not a reprint. It is a variant. Of all the books here, this is probably my favorite in terms of, I obviously think it's a lot cooler than you guys do because I've had this in the trade pool for months and months and months. I'm currently asking $20 in trade. I think it's great. I have a Whitman variant in my own collection. It's still in the Whitman 3-pack bagged, but it's a great book. I'm kind of surprised nobody's jumped at that. Dropping the trade ask on this to 20. This trade just didn't end up working out. No fault at all to the person who traded it to me. It was going on eBay for about 30 at the time I traded, so I traded straight up for another book that was at 30. I thought I'd give this modern sort of variant stuff a try. This is Ice Cream Man number 23. This was from AtCon, a virtual comic convention, limited to 500. Here's the certificate. Don't think it's ever been taken out of the package, so it's like, you know, very high grade. But prices on this have dropped a little bit. The last couple I've seen selling on eBay were like 20 to 25. So I've dropped the trade ask on this for 20. I might just stay away from some of these modern variants in the future because I just don't know much about them. But more importantly, I don't think the audience that I'm trading with is into them that much. Lone Wolf and Cub number 1, Frank Miller cover, Frank Miller forward by Frank Miller, a huge influence on Frank Miller's work, and an all-time classic manga from the 70s. This is the first American issue from 1987. Only asking 15 for this, which is about fair market value. I'm a little surprised that nobody seems to have been interested in this because it is such a cool book and it's not like it's a huge ask price-wise. And then finally, as always, Star Slayer number 2. And I'm currently asking 35 for this. Valuations have been way up, way down, fluctuating a lot. The movie news, they shot through the roof and then it dropped back down. We've talked about that at length. But again, my copy's here. It's about a 9.2, really nice, and 35. And I really should display them like this. The back cover, first appearance of Rocketeer. If this was the front cover, this book would be worth $100, but that's just weird comic collecting mentality. For some reason, the fact that this is the back cover means that it's worth less money, even though it's that easy to flip it around. But anyway, 35 to that in trade. So that's what's actually left. Let's put the thing back up on the board so you can see what's actually left in the trade pool. And you know, as you can see, I've traded away a lot of the biggest books already. So the next round, I'll have another video pretty soon. A lot of those are still in the mail, but pretty soon, some of them coming from Canada, pretty soon we're going to have the next roundup. I would really like to trade some of these, particularly some of the books that have been in the pool a long time, like the Micronauts, the Lone Wolf and Cub, the Red Rider, the Ice Cream Man variant. Those are books that I really would like to trade. So if you're interested in any of those, drop me a line and I'm sure we can work something out because I have incentive to move those particular books. So anyway, that's it. Let me know what you think down below. And again, we'll have the next round up pretty fast because I've been doing a lot of trading while I've been, it's just been a lot of technical issues with this particular video. But it's finally up now, and we'll have another one up pretty soon to show you all the cool stuff coming in for next round. So anyway, down below, you'll have all the details. You have my email down below if you are interested in a trade, and I'll see you next time.